This is lesson 157, Perimeter Review. Review the formulas for the perimeter of a square and a rectangle. The perimeter of a triangle is found by measuring the length of each side and adding all three lengths together. Watch this video. Complete the worksheet. Greens are optional. Class practice. Measure to find the perimeter of these polygons. Remember, perimeter is the distance around. So remember, a parallelogram, like a rectangle, has two sets of congruent sides. So if you measured with your ruler, you should have gotten these measurements. And then for the square, and then for the rhombus, all the sides are equal, just like a square. And you should have been measuring in centimeters because that's the linear units they gave you. Multiply the length of each side by 4 to find the perimeters of these squares. So this one was pretty easy. All you had to do was multiply each number times 4. Divide the perimeter by 4 to find the length of one side of a square. So now they've given you the perimeter and they want you to divide this number by 4 to find the length of one side of the square. And these are the answers you should have gotten. Solve the story problems. Dana paid $4.27 for a poster of John Cabot. What change did she receive from a $10 bill? $5.73. A library has 200 books about explorers. 2/5 of the books do not refer to John Cabot. How many of the books refer to John Cabot? So we want to find 2/5 of times 200 equals. So 2/5 times 200 over 1. I canceled. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 200 divided by 5 is 40. 2 times 40 is 80. 80 books do not refer to John Cabot, but they want to know how many books refer to John Cabot. So 200 minus 80 is 120. 120 books do refer to John Cabot. As James Cook explored New Zealand and Australia, he probably saw many kangaroos. Some kangaroos are about 6 feet tall. Mark the number sentence that shows how many yards 6 feet is. Fly to horse divide, of course, and our special number is 3. Review. Read the numbers and circle the digit in the tens place. Write the differences. So I crossed off the greens. Remember, when subtracting or adding decimals, you need to add or subtract straight down. Bring your decimals straight down in the column. And then for these, it might be helpful for you to line it up into this format to make sure you put your decimal in the correct place. This one is money. Make both decimals hundredths by adding a 0 if necessary. You don't have to do that, but if it helps you, you can. You could put a 0 here if that helped you compare, for example, right? Divide and check. So I didn't change the value by putting a 0 to the right of the number that's to the right of the decimal. But if I were to add a 0 before the number that's to the right of the decimal, that would change the value. I cannot do that. I cannot put a 0 here. But it's okay to put a 0 here at the end if it just helps me to visually see that this is greater, these are equal, right? But it's not necessary, like I said. And this is the answer you should have gotten for divide and check. Write the products, find the answers, write the missing terms. And this is what you should have gotten. You needed to find a common denominator here and equivalent fractions. Here you just needed to add and then subtract because you already had a common denominator. Here you just need to find equivalent fractions. So 6 times 6 is 36, 5 times 6 is 30, 9 times 9 is 81, 2 times 9 is 18. You get that.